Well, in this highly competitive Hindi news genre, when a channel grows by 100% in market share in about just 5-6 weeks, not one factor gives rise to success. There are several factors. First and foremost, the dedication, hard work and focus of the team. Despite Corona, the way the team has lived up to this occasion is unprecedented. Then I think a renewed focus on news. Despite being just a one-year-old channel, over the last 4 or 5 weeks, we have often set the agenda, which was later on taken up by other very experienced news channels in the country. So focus on news, and we relaunched the channel somewhere around end February, early March. So it turned out to be just before the lockdown, and the benefit of swelling viewership had accrued to us because of this new look, new positioning, completely new revamped prime time, focus on news. And we also had marketing activities across television channels and digital. Those were the only two mediums which we could use. So all this put together has resulted in such a growth in TV9 Bharatvarsh viewership. There has been unprecedented growth in news television viewership. In fact, usually news television contributes about 5 or 6% to the entire television viewership in our country. And during the lockdown, in some weeks, it had gone up to even 20%, averaged out about 70%. So from 5-6% to 17% is huge. So overall, you know, it's natural because there's an uncertainty. The whole world is fighting against an unknown enemy. People were concerned, worried. They needed to know more about what's happening in India and across the world. So all these had resulted in this kind of growth in TV news viewership. And also our network, the TV9 network, has done exceedingly well. Though I must be honest that when we went into the lockdown, our focus was not really on viewership growth. In fact, that was not at all our focus. The health of our all employees, that was our primary concern. Our philosophy during this time was to act according to our identity as the fourth estate. I think that's what we focused on, and the viewership growth is just a byproduct. And yes, we've grown tremendously. We have regained our #1 news network position across the country ahead of all other networks. We already had leadership channels in the regional markets like Telugu and Kannada are undisputed leaders, and Marathi, Gujarati also we've often been in the top. But most heartening is the growth in TV9 Bharatvarsh, which is our national news, Hindi news channel. The market share during this lockdown period of TV9 Bharatvarsh has grown by more than 100%. So that is the biggest growth in our network. Well, Corona is certainly a big challenge, an unprecedented challenge. The whole world is fighting against this unknown enemy. But that, according to me, is the beginning of the challenge. Post-Corona economic slowdown will hit the entire world as well as India. Now, having said so, I still remain an eternal optimist. I think there are a few things working in favor of us. Firstly, India as a nation. I think under the able guidance and leadership of our Prime Minister, we have been able to contain the spreading of virus well enough so far. I think we will continue to do so going forward. And therefore, we have a better chance to come back to track as far as economic activity is concerned, much ahead of what's going to happen in US and Europe. Secondly, in terms of industry, I think news television would be slightly better off. Media would be hit badly, especially I think newspapers and general entertainment channels. They will take some time. Till the time the vaccine comes up, the uncertainty would remain in the world, and therefore appetite for news would continue to be high. So viewership would remain high, and therefore a lot of advertisers would start relying on news television as an effective medium for advertising. So there we would be slightly better off. And I think finally at the company level, this stupendous growth of TV9 Bharatvarsh, coupled with our leadership in the regional markets, we are very hopeful that we would be able to deal with this economic downturn effectively. In fact, we had very aggressive expansion plan which was worked out before the coronavirus hit the world. Currently, we are now going back to the drawing board and thinking about unfolding our expansion plan to the extent possible once the lockdown is lifted. So let us all remain hopeful. For once, the world has one common enemy. All of us are fighting against one unknown virus, and therefore we will remain united, and together we will overcome this challenge for sure. Let us remain hopeful.